First things first, you roll up to the time clock room, you punch in. Boom. Now that you're on the clock, examine the sign-off sheet and see what needs to get taken down to the beach. Choose a couple items, preferably as many as you can carry safely. Initial your name next to those items, pick them up, bring them down to the beach. If you've chosen the water jugs, you need to head over to the dining hall and fill the water jugs with water, not soda, not lemonade, but water. We can't have any sugary drinks down at the beach if we want to stay hydrated in the hot sun. If you've chosen the radios, make sure to turn the radios on before putting them in their watertight bags. This ensures that you'll be able to hear any and all communications. Before heading to the beach, we need to stop at boats. One of you needs to unlock the boats, set out the life jackets and paddles, and two of you need to bring out the blob and the slide platforms. The rest of you load up the kayak with the lifeguard safety tubes, the backboard, and a paddle for the kayak, and one of you can walk it through the water to the beach. The rest of you bring the rest of the supplies to the beach by way of the path. Now that you've arrived at the beach, it's time to put those beach keys to good use. Unlock the porta potties and ensure that they are clean. Unlock the blob tower and put the ladder up. Unlock the buddy tag station attached to the gate and make sure that all of the necessary supplies are found therein, such as pens and the clipboard. Now that the blob and the slide platforms are in position, do a visual check of their inflated pressure. The slide should be 100% full and standing tall, while the blob should be between 2/3 and 3/4 of the way full. If they're not, use a leaf blower to get them there. Everyone else, check the beach for trash and make sure everything's looking pristine. Now it's time to choose a position. There's chair, which is in charge of the megaphone, buddy checks, and the radio. Kayak is in charge of the blob. Big raft is in charge of everything surrounding and on top of the raft. Small raft is in charge of everything on top of and surrounding the raft, and is in charge of making sure no one does any funny business off the top of the inflated slide, such as standing up and jumping off the side, going down head first. Don't be afraid to use your whistle. And then you've got toys, which is in charge of the back side of the slide where kids climb up and of the obstacle course. And then finally, you've got break. Don't sit on your phone during break. You're still on duty. Every 30 minutes, you rotate positions just to keep things interesting. It starts with chair signaling kayak that it's time to rotate. Kayak heads over to the big raft. Then big raft heads over to small raft. Small raft heads to toys. Then toys heads to boats. Boats comes to break. And finally break switches with chair. This should take no more than 7 minutes. No dawdling. When in chair, it's important to know how to effectively use the megaphone. Before you do anything, think about why you're about to use the megaphone and what you're going to say. Then, before you say anything, use the siren. It gets people's attention and quiets down the beach. You need to project your voice. Be clear and concise, but very loud. Don't waste people's time by being too quiet for them to understand what you're saying. Buddy checks are an important part of keeping kids safe down at the beach. And during every chair rotation, you will need to perform 2 as they are done every 15 minutes. Before you say anything, once again, turn on the siren, get everyone quiet, get their attention. Then follow these lines as a guideline for what to say. All right, everyone, it's time for a buddy check. Immediately stop what you're doing and find your buddy. Please, no swimming and no talking during the buddy check. We need absolute silence to make this go as quickly as possible. Find your buddy and raise their hand in the air. Oftentimes during a buddy check, not everyone will know where their buddy is at. Hopefully they'll come up to you, but you might have to spot them out of the crowd if they don't have a buddy. So first, when they come up to you, ask them their buddy number. We'll go with 23 for this one. And ask them if they know the name of their buddy. We'll go with Esmeralda. And then hop on the megaphone and it'll go a little something like this. I need buddy number 23 to report to the beach immediately. Buddy number 23 to the beach now. Esmeralda, I need Esmeralda to come to shore immediately. And if everyone's not being quiet, people are still swimming, make sure you tell them to stop swimming and to be quiet. Sometimes you still will not be able to find the person's buddy. In which case, you need to get everyone out of the water and your lifeguards need to come to shore. Use these lines. Everyone out of the water immediately. Everyone come to shore. Lifeguards come in. Everyone swims to shore. Get everyone out of the water. Everyone out of the water. Lifeguards swim in as fast as you can. Then use this line. Everyone line up single file with your buddy and hold out your buddy tag wrist. So everyone's lined up on the beach, single file, they got their wrist out, and all the lifeguards are checking them for buddy number 23, calling out Esmeralda, Esmeralda, Esmeralda. Stay on the megaphone looking for Esmeralda. If you still can't find Esmeralda after you've looked at everyone that's lined up, head over to the gate, look at the buddy tag sign up sheet, find buddy tag number 23 and who the partner is. Should be Esmeralda. Get their camp wristband number, then go back to the radio the office and let them know that you're missing a camper. Give them the name, Esmeralda, and the camp wristband number, not the buddy tag wristband, the camp wristband number, whatever that may be, so they can start searching across the campus for this person. While that's happening, the other lifeguards put on their flippers, put on their goggles, swim back to the position they were at. So, for example, if you were at the big raft, you put on your flippers, goggles as quickly as possible. This is a serious matter. There could be a dead kid in the water, so do it fast. Put your flippers on, put your goggles on, swim out to the big raft, swim under the big raft looking for the child. Okay, look all around, make sure there's no one under there. Look in the surrounding water. If you're at kayak, look under the blob. If you're at small raft, look under the small raft and the surrounding water. If you're at toys, look under the obstacle course and look under the inflatable slide. After everyone has looked through their position, then start combing the middle of the water for the child. And you have to keep doing that until the office says they find the kid or you do. Hopefully that doesn't happen, but that's the way it is. The lifeguard that was in chair and called everyone into shore needs to stay on the beach. They're not putting flippers on. They're staying on the megaphone. They're keeping everyone silent. And they're staying right next to the radio, waiting for the office to tell them something. Okay, they're also paying attention to the lifeguards in the water, making sure they're fine, coming up for breaths of air, all that. So you're controlling the beach during this time, keeping everyone quiet. Once the child is found, sometimes they're in the game room, sometimes they just went back to their cabin, whatever. Once the child's found, boom, then you're good. Call the lifeguards in, back to shore. They take off their flippers and goggles. Maybe they get a drink if they need to. And then they go back to the position they were in. Keep the kids lined up on the beach until this happens. Once the lifeguards are in position, they'll give you the thumbs up and let you know that they're ready to go. Then you can send the kids back into the water. Don't send them into the water until you give them a little speech on why it's important to stay next to your buddy at all times so this doesn't happen again. Now that we know how to deal with a missing child, let's go back to the buddy check, but this time everything goes smoothly. So let's take the example of the lifeguard on Big Raft. You're on Big Raft, you look at everyone that's up on top of the raft, you ask them, make sure they all have their buddies, then you check everyone in the water, make sure they all have buddies. Then, as soon as you confirm that everyone in your area has a buddy, you give a big thumbs up to the lifeguard in the chair. You gotta make sure they can see your thumbs up, okay? So hold it high up in the air. Once the lifeguard in the chair on the megaphone gets a thumbs up from every position and their own zone, all of their buddies are found. Then they can let everyone know, nice job, everyone. Continue swimming. Okay, simple as that. Buddy checks over. And then if it's at the end of the 30 minutes, you can start the rotation. Like kayak, now it's time to rotate. One final word on the buddy checks. For each lifeguard in their position, make sure you are keeping everyone in your zone, silent and still. Okay, you don't want people swimming around. Everyone needs to be next to their buddy, not speaking, holding their wrists in the air. Okay, no talking. Keep them quiet. Okay, you've successfully made it to the end of the shift. There's 5 minutes left. Typically, what I like to do is let everyone know that there's 5 minutes left. Give them something like, all right, everyone, you've got 5 minutes remaining. Only 5 minutes. If you leave now, you could get a better spot in the dinner line. Okay? And then, once it is time to close, attention, everyone, the beach is now closed. The beach is now closed. Please promptly exit the water, grab your belongings and trash, and leave the beach through the gate. Simple as that. Make sure no one is still trying to swim around. Every lifeguard, check your zone. Make sure no one's hiding or anything. Hopefully that doesn't happen, but check. And yeah, just get them out of the water as quick as they can. They don't need to screw around anymore. It's time for them to stop swimming. Once all the kids are out of the water and are starting to leave the gate, two people need to go unclip the blob and start bringing it over to its resting position for the evening, as well as grab the slide platforms and bring them back to the boathouse. Someone else needs to lock the blob tower, lock the porta potties, lock the buddy tag station, and the last one through the gate locks the gate. Make sure before you leave the beach to pick up all the trash. Take a good look all over, in the grass, on the sand. Make sure it's nice and clean. Load the kayak up with the backboard and the lifeguard tubes and the paddle and send it back over to boats. Over at boats, make sure that all the boats are attached and locked to the docks. Make sure the canoes are stacked up and locked to the racks. And make sure the kayaks are stacked up and locked to the tree. Then, when the kayak comes over from the beach, unload it into the boathouse and lock the kayak up behind the boathouse. Make sure all of the life jackets and paddles are put away into the boathouse nice and neat. Keep the boathouse looking nice and neat always. Pick up any trash around boats, put it in the trash can. Lock the boathouse and wait for the rest of your team to get over to boats. Once everyone on the team makes it to boats and all the objectives are complete, you can carry the supplies up to the time clock room, put it away in the correct position, and then sign off on the checklist with your initials, what you brought up, and what you did during the day. Now, if you brought up the radios, it is very important that you turn off the radios and plug them in and ensure that they are charging for the night so that you have them to be used the following day. After that, you can punch out and leave. Last one out of the time clock room, turn the lights off, make sure the door is locked, and you're done. Well done.